the first thing I'm doing is I'm mixing the liquid ingredients together. I'm going to make this recipe from TrueNorthKitchens.com, pumpkin rye bread with cinnamon sugar. I've recently decided I want to incorporate rye into my diet, whole grain, and I happen to have a kind of old can of pumpkin sitting in my pantry and decided I needed a recipe to use that pumpkin. So, pumpkin, eggs, avocado oil, brown sugar. I'm going to add some white sugar, and that'll be my liquid ingredients, and then I'm going to add the dry. Let me focus on this sugar. And the recipe, we'll put it up on the screen in a little while so you can compare what we're doing. Okay, so now I've got my dry ingredients together. I'm just going to whisk them up. I substituted in the recipe. I used, of course, the dark rye, 1 cup. I used a cup of bread flour because I wanted a little more gluten, and a 1/4 cup of golden whole wheat. This is because I always like there to be half or more whole wheat grain in my recipe. So now I'm going to add, this is the spices, which we looked at earlier. So I'll just tap those in, and this is the powder, baking powder and baking soda sieved so that there aren't any lumps. Let's get these all mixed together. And then I'm going to go ahead and mix the liquid ingredients, and this is 2 kinds of sugar, brown sugar, white sugar. There's avocado oil, pumpkin, and eggs. And the recipe says to whisk this, but I'm using a mixer. My hands aren't that strong. And with the dry ingredients, you have to be very delicate, but with the liquid, as long as they're mixed, they can handle a little heat. It's typical in almost all baked goods that you add the dry ingredients to the liquid ingredients. So I'm just going to, as gently as I can, I'm going to fold in my flour mix here. Do it about 1/3 at a time. The reason that you handle the dough gently when you put in the flour is that flour has gluten, and you end up with a gluey pastry that's chewy instead of something light and delicate if you overmix it. Just like you knead bread, you kind of abuse it to get that lovely chewy texture. Yeah, not so good in a cake or a quick bread. So. One of the things I loved about this recipe is it uses an entire can of pumpkin, so you don't have to worry what to do with that little bit that's always left. Now I'm experimenting with these flours. You'll find I'm always experimenting, so I'm never sure. I have every reason to believe that the woman that made the recipe on the internet has a perfect recipe, and that maybe I'm not going to have a perfect recipe, but it's more fun for me to experiment. So, okay, I like that. So I've got my pan prepped here. I just used spray canola oil in the pan. You like my hat? I volunteer at our local church and cook, and it was always a hassle to wear a bandana to keep my hair out of the food, so we got this cool little hat, and I really love it. It's so easy to keep the hair out of everything, and it looks very official. But I don't want you to think I'm putting on airs. It's just a hat. I'm not really a chef. All right. It's a nice